Okay. So, this is March following Jesus. So today is March 20th. And so, wow. Okay. Update. Okay. So this month, actually in 10 days, March 30th is going to be my birthday. I'm turning 23. Now, I don't say this because I'm like, oh yeah, hey, everybody, it's my birthday. Woohoo. No, I'm saying this because I never thought I was going to make it to the age of 23. It's either I was going to commit suicide on my 23rd birthday, or I was going to be killed by my 23rd birthday, or someone was going to kill me on my 23rd birthday. One period, I was just going to die. Okay, there was no hope for me. I was just going to die. But I am alive and living. I still got 10 days. I guess we'll see in the next 10 days. But I know that God is good and He has a plan for my life, and that I'm going to survive. So I made it this far, so I'm really happy. So yeah, another thing that I really want to speak about is yeah, it's huge. This is really huge for me because if you guys follow me, you guys know that I've had a hard time in my life with actually loving people. Or even believing that people could actually love, or people could love me. I actually, yesterday I wrote a blog because I have a blog called Life After Prostitution. It's at blogspot.com. So lifeafterprostitution.blogspot.com. And so, basically, the blog talks about, unworthy insecurities. And so I was talking about how, I was very unsure that I was worthy of love. And so, God's been really working on me because I've been like a hard-hearted harlot, and that was one of my last blogs that I wrote. And so God gave me the scripture on Ezekiel 36:26, which talks about how He'll give me a new heart, not a stony heart, but a heart made of flesh, which is so funny because I did a blog on the hard-hearted harlot, and now He's talking about, I'm going to give you not a stony heart, but a fleshly heart. So I thought that was really cool how God allowed me to write that blog and then gave me that scripture. He's so funny how He works. So yeah. So about I think it was in 2011, God actually, I actually was praying one night and I made a promise to God that, that I would, if He would give me a family, that, I would, give my son to Him and to serve, for His purpose. Because, at that moment and at that time in my life, because of course I wrote a blog about the unworthy, basically being unworthy, basically of love, I didn't think that I was worthy of love. I didn't think that anyone could ever love me. I deemed myself as unlovable, destruction. Anyone that I touched would literally crumble, break, I'd hurt, or you've ever seen X-Men. On X-Men, there's a person named Rogue, and everybody she touches, she sucks the powers off them, and they die, and they shrivel up, and they're like, oh, like that. So that was me. I consider myself like Rogue, off X-Men, and so, yeah. So it's been really hard because, God has been really working on me, and honestly, because my demon was so deep, because I did a lesson on No Child Left Behind, which God had me using my blog yesterday, which is crazy because I did that lesson actually probably a year ago in April. So I'm writing the blog now, and from a lesson a year ago in April, that's just crazy. But God knows what He's doing, so I'm not even going to question or even try to bother worrying, what He's doing, because He knows what He's doing. I guess He's just using my life as an example of how He can restore and bring people back to life who are dead and broken inside. Restoration, right? Which my ministry talks about restoration and brokenness, which He had me write before I even knew that He was going to restore me from my brokenness. So, God knows what He's doing, really. Not even going to question or even ask. So, another thing is, He had me writing on who, I wrote this part of my blog called Who Am I? And so God's been really working on, who I am as a person, and me finding me and me being comfortable in my skin, because I tend to compromise and become who people want me to be instead of sticking up for who I really am. And so I mold myself into what they want me to be. And so I've actually had to lose some people in my life who I really care about because I didn't want to conform to what they wanted me to conform to, but I wanted to be who God was creating me to be, which is um, a writer, someone who blogs, who does ministry, and being free in that, and it's what makes me comfortable, and because it's my talent, it's what God has for me, and so I'm really, when people say, "Oh, I'm comfortable in my own skin," like I'm comfortable in my own skin, like I don't care if the job that God has me working right now is not a $30,000 a year job. I know who I am, versus wandering in the world not knowing who I am. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I wouldn't trade it for all the money in the world because I actually know who I am now, versus not knowing who I am. So it feels really good to actually be comfortable in your own skin. I wrote a blog on, catching up with your reflection. So God has really worked on my life where I look at myself for who I am now versus on who I was in the past because I've been struggling with that a lot. Also with, there's a difference between understanding that you're beautiful and people telling you that you're beautiful. For so long, people tell me all the time, Jazz, you're beautiful. And I'd be like, yeah, I know. But did I really know? Or was I just listening to what they were saying and not really grasping it for myself? Point blank period, I'm gorgeous. Like, I love myself. And, like, I can actually say proudly that I'm a size 17. I fasted a while back ago and my 17 pant Levi's did not fit me. I wanted to cry. And yesterday I put on my Levi's, which are size 17, and they fit again. And I was so happy to be back to a size 17. Like, it's just where I'm comfortable at. It's where I feel that it's just me. I love being plus size. I don't ever want to be skinny. I want to remain a size 17. That's just where I'm comfortable at. And so it's good to actually feel good in your skin, because for a long time I would make myself throw up or, you know, especially when certain things happen in my life, and people would leave me, I would revert back to making myself throw up or, stuff like that because I didn't think that I was pretty or because they were leaving me because I wasn't pretty enough or something. But when you know for sure that, look, this is you, like you're not, it's never going to change, this is just who you are, like just love yourself. And so here I am. I love myself. So it's a really good feeling to know that I'm there at that point. Another thing is to actually know, like, point blank period, my favorite color is purple, like that is part of me, like if you know me, I like purple. I snort when I laugh. I love to write. Like, those are pieces of me that, I've been searching for so long. And like to actually know, like, like the other day I had to tell myself, like I look around my room and I'd be like, okay, well, what do I like? I love flip flops. Like I love flip flops, like I love, primping and prepping and doing my hair. And, I'm very creative and I do my own eyebrows and I do my own hair. I cut my own hair. I trim my own hair. I straighten my own hair. I take care of my own hair. I have my own style. Like I love sneakers, hoodies, and jeans. But I don't have to have like the latest fashion sneakers, I don't have to rock what everybody else is wearing, just because I like to be myself with my own sense of style, not, the in or the here, the now, what everybody else wants. And a lot of times what we do is we try to mold and blend into the crowd. Well, I'm sorry, I can actually, for a long time, one of my New Year's resolutions was I won't compromise who I am. And I would always compromise who I was. I'm not doing that, like I'm not compromising who I am. If this is how I'm comfortable, if you're going to love me a certain way, then love me because this is who I am. accept it. That's it. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, so basically about a year ago I cried out to God and I said, God, no one's gonna really love someone like me. And so God's been really like, I don't care, point blank period. Like there is no way that I would have made it through college with all the stuff that God had to do with me to allow me to break down my walls for the damage to get out. There is no way. I would have literally flunked out of college, point blank period, because my damage, it's like basically having imagine a whole body and cutting my body in half and there's like nothing but like black tar in there. Like I feel like there was so much junk in my life that there's no way that I would have survived school, because I don't even know how I survived through the summer alone, because like there are days where I thought I would die. I remember there was one time where I was so stressed out that my stomach was just like it felt so tight that I could feel like the muscle was just like this, and then I could feel it in my back, and it felt like that all day long, and it never went away, and it just stayed like that. It just stayed like that. It was just tight, 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 tight. And I just um and so now that God has really allowed someone to help me break down my walls in my life, because I honestly didn't think that someone could love someone like me, or that I could ever be loved. And that's a horrible feeling, especially if you have to feel that way your whole entire life, because it's not like I woke up and was like, oh yeah, I'm not, able or capable to be loved. Like I've been feeling like no one loves me since as much as I can remember, probably for me to actually remember 5 years old, but I can't remember anything, but I have, like I remember being 5 and like feeling like no one loves me, like no one loves me, like, and like to be, older and have to, vow God and make a promise to God that, if you can do this for me, whatever it is that you want, it must be crucial, because there was no other way that I felt that someone could actually love me, because I deem myself as unlovable. And so God has really been working on me, and I feel like one of my biggest accomplishments this year alone is yesterday when I realized, actually not yesterday, but it was a while ago when I was looking in the mirror at myself and I was um, holding one of my friend's little nieces, and I realized, I can do this, like, one day I can have a family, because someone told me, when I was younger, you'll be a bad mom, and so I'm like, you know, wow, like how do you put that in someone's head, and so God helped me, with that. And, I could see myself, okay, one day I can be a mom, or one day I can be a wife, and one day I can have a normal relationship, and one day someone can actually love me, and care about me and value me. And so, like, I have value. I'm valuable. I am worthy of love. Like, that's what my blog was kind of talking about, how I'm worthy of love. And it feels good, because I mean, I kid you not, like a year ago, if you would have sat down next to me, I would have been like, men, yuck. That's so gross. Or, love isn't real. I would have said, love isn't real. People don't love. The only person who loves is God. I was hard-hearted. One of my biggest things I always used to say is, like when I was younger was, I would basically have sex, like with people to avoid emotions of falling in love, because if you don't fall in love, you don't have to worry about getting hurt. That was my biggest issue. Like I never wanted to fall in love, because, I just wanted to keep it moving, because I don't want at the end of the day to, like, I didn't want to be left, because I felt like everyone who loved me left me, like I don't want to, like, and like one of my biggest prayers when I was 5 years old was, I don't want to be like my mother, because my mother was a single mom, and was, I don't want to be a single mom, and how can you really have a family when you know that ain't And, you know, like that's why I promised God, like, here, you can do whatever you want with my child. Like, you can use him for your purpose, because I knew point blank period, like, it's going to take a miracle for someone to actually love me, you know, because like, I don't want to be a single mom, God. But in order for me to actually have a family, it's going to take a miracle for someone to love me, you know, like, so like, that's how desperate. And, you know, like, I did a thing on, it was a video called, with Hannah's prayer. I forget what the video it is, but basically that was kind of like on my life, because like, I was like in desperation, because like, I didn't think anybody was going to be able to love me in my life, you know, like, I didn't feel love. So, and I didn't feel like that, you know, I was capable of being loved, or I was worthy of being able to be loved. Like, you know, this is what you got to deal with when you live, you know, that type of lifestyle that you do, or you go through the certain things you do. And so, I take it as a real big accomplishment to know that I'm here now, one, and that I'm not back there in my past, and that I know that I can be loved, and that someone will love me one day. And to actually know, excuse me, before I cry, to actually know that, to feel inside, to actually know, like, my blog is called, Unworthy Insecurities. And insecurities is when you're not sure, not certain, but to actually be certain and sure and secure in knowing that someone can love you for me, or that I'm worthy of love. Because I never thought I was worthy of love, because I consider myself ugly and fat back in the day, and not worthy of love. You know, if my parents can't love me, then I'm not worthy of love. You know, if the men can't love me, then I'm not worthy of love. So I might as well, you know, I'm not good enough. I'm not, but I am worthy of it. And that is huge. Like, that is like my biggest fear in life has always been love. Has always been love. And to accomplish that, and to get over that hurdle, is so big. I lost one of my closest friends this year because I took advantage of their love, because I didn't know how to love. I didn't think I was worthy of it, and I pushed them away like crazy. Pushed them away like crazy. And, you know, they helped me to get to this point, because I didn't want to hurt them or make them feel bad. I didn't know how someone could love me like me, you know, like, but everybody deserves love. I mean, I knew God could love me, but people to love me, like, yeah, right, you know. And so, it's, I don't know, like, I feel good, because I'm gonna write a book on, steps towards restoration, because God is restoring my life. And, you know, I see him restoring my life. I see him showing me who I am. It feels good to be in my own skin. It feels good to not have to compromise who I am. It feels good, just to know, look, I'm the church girl, but, you know, I love my poetry. I love writing. I'm a hard worker. You know, I love the color purple. You know, I can be loved. You know, like, to know, you know, like, I go to work during the day. I come home and I blog all day, and I write my books like until 12 o'clock at night. I'm constantly going. It doesn't stop. I wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning and start writing my books. You know, it's constant. You know, I'm motivated to do what I got to do, to help who I have to help, to get accomplished what God has. You know, people waste time. God doesn't waste time. And so I'm not going to waste God's time if he has a mission set out for me to do, because he's really helping me in the process to, um, understand, you know, who I was before the world damaged me, before the world broke me down. Um, you know, I remember when I first left college, I said, God, as long as I don't have to be around people and fall in love with nobody and all this other stuff, and oh my gosh, like, da, da, da. And God had to use the one person I actually had feelings for the longest time to be able to help me, because I really didn't care about people much. And He used the only person I really cared about at the time, because I didn't care about many people like I cared about them, you know. And that's what I usually see is God will use the people that we care about the most to help us change, because we'll be motivated, you know, to do what we got to do in order to change, to be all we can be for people sometimes, or to get to the next step. And you know, I'm feeling really good, and yeah, that's my update on following Jesus, on how God's restoring my life. God is restoring my family. My books are coming together. I'm praying that I can get my first book out by probably May, June. So yeah, I was finished with one book, but God had me start adding some more stuff to it. So whatever it is that He wants me to do, I'll do. And yeah, that's about it. I love you guys, and I just wanted to let you guys know I'm still here. I have not done any lessons lately because I'm actually filling in my blogs right now. God has me doing a lot of editing, filling my blogs, and my blog website, and also as well as doing my books. And so I'm also trying to work on getting my license. So I got a lot of stuff going on right now, and you know, I'm teaching on. If you guys have me on Facebook, I'm teaching on moving forward, and I'm actually working on a lesson on bearing. So talk about like bearing your cross, or bearing, childbearing, you know, transitioning, you know, from mother out to the world, you know, transitioning. So you talk about transitioning and moving forward. So of course, in order to teach it, I got to live it. And so I'm trying to set myself up, you know, like when a baby's set up to push out. Yeah, so I'm trying to set myself out so I can get out there, so I can push myself out to where it is that God needs me to be, so I can be in a new place in my life. So then I'm going to do a lesson on helping you guys to bear and to transition into where it is that God is bringing you guys in your life. So yeah, restoration. I'm very excited. I'm very excited. God is good. And I love you guys so much. And thanks for tuning in. God bless. Peace.